Hello everyone, welcome to Ascendant Signs, and today in this video I will be talking about the transit of Mercury into the sign of Virgo. On 21st of August 2022, Mercury has already entered the sign of Virgo, and this transit of Mercury is going to be a bit longer one as compared to the other transits of Mercury. As Mercury is moving forward through the sign of Virgo, it is very essential to understand that on 10th of September 2022, Mercury is turning retrograde in the sign of Virgo, and then it will move backwards, but on 2nd of October 2022 Mercury will turn direct in the initial degrees of the sign Virgo, and then it will march forward, traverse through whole of the sign of Virgo, and on 26th of October 2022 Mercury will finally leave Virgo and it will enter the sign of Libra. So this transit of Mercury is going to be more than 60 days, and it is very essential now because Jupiter is transiting through the sign of Pisces, and for Jupiter it is going to be a very longer transit because it is retrograding. Saturn is also retrograding in the sign of Capricorn. It is also going to be a very longer transit for Saturn also. Mars has already entered the sign of Taurus, which is also going to be a big transit for Mars, and now Mercury. For a planet like Mercury, which is a very fast moving planet, now when other planets are also having a very long transit and Mercury has already entered the sign of Virgo, its exaltation sign, Mercury rules over Virgo, and it is moving through the sign of Virgo, that also in exaltation state, and it is going to be a longer one. So you can understand that any event which is occurring now, which can be impacting any aspect of our life, or it can be related to our job, it can be related to our home, family matters, domestic matters, our business, relationship, marriage, anything it can be. Any matter which is occurring now, it will have an everlasting impact on every one of us. Now this is with respect to all other planets I am talking about, because most of the planets are transiting or will be transiting for longer amount of time now. And when we are talking about Mercury, then you will find that just opposite to Mercury you will find Jupiter, which is retrograding in the sign of Pisces. So Mercury will receive the aspect of Jupiter from Pisces. So this transit of Mercury will not only be benefic with respect to its exaltation, but also it will receive the aspect of benefic Jupiter. So this transit of Mercury is going to bring very good results for every one of us. Now suppose we are running through the Dasha of Mercury, or suppose we are running through the Dasha of Jupiter because Jupiter is aspecting Mercury, or suppose any planet is posited in your chart in the sign of Virgo and Mercury is transiting over that planet, and you are running through the Dasha of that planet, then also you are going to receive the impact of this Mercury for greater extent. Why? Not only because the transit of Mercury, but also Mercury rules over the sign Virgo. So it will be becoming as if the house lord is transiting over that house. Like suppose Mars is sitting in the sign of Virgo in your chart in the 5th house, like suppose in the 5th house, and Mercury is transiting in the sign of Virgo. So you will not only get the result as the transit of Mercury in the 5th house, but also you will find the result as the 5th lord transiting over the 5th house. So different kinds of results can be expected. Now Mercury is a very receptive planet. That means whichsoever planet it is getting attached with, it behaves or it receives the energy of that planet and it behaves in that way. Perhaps that is what intelligence is. Mercury rules over our intelligence. Means it depends upon in which kind of environment we are living. Suppose if you are staying in a group of good people, wise people, the people who are always doing good for the society, similarly the same kind of impact will fall on you. But suppose if you are under the influence of some malefic influence or any people who are not good, So that kind of impact will fall upon you. That is what Mercury is, that is what intelligence is. So since now Mercury is receiving the aspect of Jupiter, it will definitely give you good results. The propensity to give the good results will increase. But suppose Mercury is transiting over any malefic planet in the sign of Virgo. Now don't forget that Mercury is exalted, so the propensity of giving the results is increasing. And at this moment of time, suppose Mercury is transiting over any malefic planet in your chart, in your horoscope, so what will happen? Since Mercury rules over communication, it will impact our communication skills. At times it can make us a bit anxious or nervous, because Mercury rules over our nervous system, our thought process, correct? So the results will be good, but up to which magnitude, that will depend upon many more factors, correct? And since it is not a very quick transit, it is going to be a transit of more than 60 days, so it will impact us for next 2 months or so. Okay, and then Mercury will move into the sign of Libra, and then it will play a different kind of role, different kind of job, and ultimately different kind of results can be expected then. But now since it is exalted and it is receiving the aspect of Jupiter, so by the virtue of transit, it is going to give us very good results. Only the magnitude of giving good results will depend upon the planets over which Mercury is transiting and which dasa we are running through. Okay, so anytime if you want a consultation from me, check the links in the description section, and you can directly mail me through my email ID, and you can also get connect with me with my Facebook or Instagram accounts. You will find the links in the description section, and your comments are always welcome to me. And if you like this video, press the like button and share to your near and dear ones. So stay along with this video, because I will be discussing regarding all the 12 ascendant signs also. But we have to understand that why this transit of Mercury through the sign of Virgo is going to become more important as of now. Because you see, this transit will allow us to observe many things. See, first Saturn and Jupiter turned retrograde, and it impacted us, and it is still impacting us. Then the time of Mars came, when Mars entered the sign of Taurus, and it's going on. And now Mercury. So there are so many things to see and observe. And when I talk about the word observe, I mean it, because it is the sign of Virgo. It is the sign of critical thinking. It is the sign of logical reasoning regarding anything which happens in your life. This is the time when you will observe very critically. You will try to find the solution. This Mercury is a problem solver. Now it can be anything. All of a sudden you will find that yes, this was the thing which was creating problem. Let me work upon it. This is the Mercury which can give you the scope to improve. And when we become more critical to certain things, that is the time when we find the shortcomings. It gives us the opportunity to become better and finally best. That is what the sign of Virgo, and that is what Mercury placed in Virgo can give us. It can make us very practical, very organized. When we talk about the sign Virgo, we must also include the fact that Virgo is actually the 6th house of the natural zodiac. Mercury rules over Gemini, Mercury rules over Virgo. Gemini becomes the original 3rd house of the natural zodiac, and Virgo becomes the original 6th house of the natural zodiac. And when we talk about Virgo, the 6th house energy always comes into the play. You see, 3, 6, 11, they are the malefic houses. Now someone will say that 11th house is the house of gains, fulfillment of desires, whatever it can be. But when we talk about Vedic astrology, 3, 6, 11, these are the houses which are considered to be malefic houses. Maharshi Parasara has clearly stated 3rd house, 6th house and 11th house to be the malefic houses. And 3rd house and 6th house, the natural 3rd house and 6th house is ruled by Mercury, that is Gemini, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury. Why 3, 6, 11 is malefic? Because they are Trisadaya houses. Trisadaya houses are considered to be malefic because they allow us to move in a path to achieve certain things, But while we achieve our goals, our aim in life, we put continuous efforts, hard work, and try to achieve the things, there is a propensity, there is a chance that we can move away from our spiritual goals, because ultimately the goal of our soul is to achieve that supreme soul, almighty, that also in a proper way of dharma. But Trisadaya houses can actually, if not controlled in a proper manner, they have the energy, they have the power to move us towards more spiritual, more materialistic life, away from the spiritual life. And that is the reason they can be at times very malefic. But on the other hand, sixth house has the energy of Upachya house. It is a Upachya house. Upachya house means it grows with time. Now this has got so much link with the sign of Virgo, because you see, when we talk about Mercury in Virgo, that means we learn by doing. Now we may like it or we may not like it, that will depend upon the sign of Capricorn, because Capricorn is fifth from Virgo, and fifth house is joy and pleasure which we get from doing anything, correct? Now suppose you are doing any work, suppose you are a painter, but suppose the work environment where you are painting, that work environment, you may not like that work environment. Okay, so although you like the work, but you are not getting the proper environment in doing that work. So if Mercury is placed in the sign of Virgo, what will happen? You will do the work, you will face your shortcomings, you will learn from it, you will improve it. Although you may not like the work, although you may not like the environment, but still you will learn new things. So that means the sign of Virgo, where now Mercury is present, this will allow us to work through our shortcomings, it will allow us to learn new things, improve our skills, and ultimately achieve the success. Now very essential to understand that fifth from Virgo now is Saturn is retrograding in the sign of Capricorn. So that means whatever work we are doing, initially we may not like that work, initially we may feel that, am I going to get the result out of it, am I going to waste my time? You may feel like that. But don't forget that Saturn is transiting in the sign of Capricorn, and Saturn rules over Capricorn. It is fifth from Virgo. So initially you may feel that I'm not getting my results, I cannot see my future. Initially you may feel, especially when Mercury has entered the sign of Virgo. But don't forget, this Mercury will also bring opportunities when Mercury will turn retrograde. So all of a sudden when Mercury turns retrograde, you may feel that yes, I can complete this work in some different way. That is the time when it will allow you to rethink that, is there a smarter way to improve or not? That is the time when you will understand that yes, Upachya Bhav or the energy of Upachya houses comes into play, because Upachya houses are the houses which grows with time. That means it takes us some time to become better and then best. We learn new things, we improve ourselves, and ultimately we get the success. We may like the work, we may not like the work, but we can ultimately get success through it, correct? That is what this transit of Mercury through the sign of Virgo can give us. Now when we talk about critical thinking, when we talk about practical approach, it is essential for us, for every one of us, because when we go through our lifestyle, when we go through our work, job or service, we may come across many types of people, we may come across many types of work, but it is essential for us to keep on doing it, and that is how we can master over it. That is the reason this Mercury through the sign of Virgo can give us a complete set of package where you can learn things, and ultimately will feel that after 2 months when Mercury leaves the sign of Virgo and it enters the sign of Libra, you will feel that yes, it was a process when we learned many things in our job life, in our service life, because don't forget, Virgo is the original 6th house of the natural zodiac, which deals with service and job, which deals with hard work, and this Mercury will act as a problem solver, will help us to do smart work. Okay, so we have to make the most out of this transit, and then only we can get the best result. for this transit of Mercury through the sign of Virgo. And now I will talk about all the 12 ascendant signs and how this transit of Mercury is going to play its role for every one of us. See, definitely it will bring good results for every one of us, but the magnitude of the good results will depend upon the dasa which you are running through, or the planets which are sitting in the sign of Virgo in your chart and Mercury is transiting over it. If any malefic planet is sitting in the sign of Virgo in your chart and Mercury is transiting over it, then obviously the propensity of giving the good results will decrease to some extent. On the other hand, suppose Jupiter is sitting in the sign of Virgo, or Mercury is sitting in the sign of Virgo in your chart and Mercury is transiting over that planet, so obviously it will bring good results. Okay, so it will depend upon horoscope to horoscope, that the propensity of good results will vary from person to person. Okay, but overall I will say that this transit of Mercury is such a transit which we have to capitalize in order to have a growth in our own material life, because this is a transit which will give us materialistic upliftments, success. Whatever work we do, we will learn new things. It may also happen that after Mercury turns retrograde, it will bring new kinds of opportunity for every one of us. Okay, because don't forget that in the sign of Capricorn also Saturn is retrograding, so it's a wonderful opportunity when we can work upon our own lives and get the best results when Mercury is transiting through the sign of Virgo. So come, let us talk about all the 12 ascendant signs, and please check it from your moon sign also in order to have a better idea regarding this transit of Mercury through the sign of Virgo. Come. For the Aries ascendant people, Mercury will be transiting in the 6th house in the sign of Virgo, and this transit of Mercury will give us a more practical approach towards our service, towards our job and work. It is also a transit where we can apply our intelligence more logically in order to complete a work. Now it can be any kind of project or any kind of work given by our authorities or superiors. We will apply our intelligence and we will be able to focus on it more clearly in a proper thought process, and you will be able to complete it on time. So that is the reason this transit of Mercury will not only allow us to have a better relationship between us and our superiors, but also it will bring a very cordial relationship between you and your subordinates, because this Mercury knows how to solve the problems, how to make the relationship between the co-workers and you in a more smooth manner. So this is a time when you can actually work upon your shortcomings. You can also work upon the things which can make your work more better and beautify with your intelligence. Suppose any work you get during this particular time, so you will be automatically having some ideas of your own which can actually lead to the success of the project or work in a less amount of time. So this is a time when you can also get some renownment, some applause and appraisals by your superiors. So make the most out of it. And another thing is that 6th house is also the house of enemies. So due to this transit of Mercury in the exalted position in the 6th house, you will also get victory over your opponents. 6th house is also the house of disease, immunity towards disease, resistance towards disease, and also the house of disease. So this is also a time when you can actually use your intellect in a more logical manner in order to how to take care regarding your health. If you become more punctual, if you apply time management in a better manner, then this transit of Mercury is going to give you much more good results with respect to your proper healthy practices also. And since Mercury is your third lord for the Aries ascendant people, third house is also the house which deals with efforts, bravery, actions, creative talents, and that is coming, that energy is coming in the 6th house and getting exalted. So you can expect that your hard work, your efforts is going to get success. So make the most out of it. Stay away from manipulation. Just follow your work, just follow your intelligence and complete the work on time. Try to maintain a proper time management and schedule, and ultimately you are going to get very good results. So that's it for the Aries ascendant people. For the Taurus ascendant people, the transit of Mercury is going to happen in the 5th house, and this transit of Mercury is going to be very good with respect to how you express yourself. You will be able to express your thoughts in front of others, your viewpoints in a much more better manner. But one thing, stay away from any kind of manipulation, or stay away from any kind of arguments, or where you are thinking that yes, I am saying something but the others are not understanding. So stay away from any kind of arguments where you are forcefully implementing your ideas on others. Stay away from that. Otherwise, this is a time when you can actually express your creativity, express your thoughts in a much more better manner. Since 5th house is also the house of learning, creativity and intelligence, this is a time where you can learn new things. See, you may be a better painter, you may be a good painter, suppose, but this transit of Mercury can actually make you a better painter, because it will allow you to look through your shortcomings, your weaknesses in a more critical manner. This is a time when you will be able to identify your faults, rectify it and become much more better with time, because this transit is going to be for more than 2 months. So huge amount of time you will get, and you will learn new things during this due course of process, and ultimately you will get gains out of it, because this Mercury will directly look onto your 11th house. And how you express your thoughts here, that means you are expressing your thoughts with respect to your network circle also, because when you are dealing with your friends, you are dealing with your network circles, so there can be many ideas which may come in your mind during this particular time, and you may try to convey those ideas in front of your friend circle or network circle, because just opposite to 5th house is the 11th house. Mercury will look onto your 11th house, and you will be having a proper conversation between you and your friends. Suppose if you have children and progeny, then this Mercury will also help you to connect with your children much more in a much more better manner. You will be able to express your thoughts to them in a better manner. Only stay away from any kinds of arguments or disputes where you may feel that yes, you have to put your thoughts in a more forceful manner. Just stay away from that. Otherwise, this transit is going to be a much more better one. Another thing is that since this is the house of creative skill set, you will be also able to learn new things. Means this is a time when you can all of a sudden start learning new things. Means, or you don't get surprised if you start any education or studies during this particular transit. Another thing is that Mercury for the Taurus ascendant people is also the second lord, and this second lord will be exalted in the 5th house. So that means you may also get some chance of earning new things through your creativity or through speculative business also. This is a time of a chance of some getting new kind of wealth or gains during this particular time. So make the most out of it. Okay, so that's it for the Taurus ascendant people. For the Gemini ascendant people, Mercury will be transiting through the 4th house, and 4th house is the house of happiness. It is the Sukh Bhav. That means this transit of Mercury will bring overall domestic happiness in your life. Now, when we talk about happiness, and Virgo is basically the sign which rules over job, service. Okay, so that means this Mercury will help you to have all kind of success in your projects, in your in any kind of efforts or any kind of contracts, and how you are deal with other people. Means you will get automatic success, and that will bring happiness in your life. This will also mean prosperity in your family members, because 4th house is the house where you live in. So that means it also deals with the family members which lives along with you. So that means it is a time of prosperity for every one of you. All the family matters or disputes will be settled during this particular time, and communications between you and your family members will be much more better during this particular time. Any important decision related to your home, house, or the place where you live in, or any suppose you wanted to decorate your house, because Mercury is a planet which also deals with proper organizational skills. It is a planet which rules over critical judgment, looking something very critically. So that means you will automatically take this time to clean your house, make the house beautiful. Okay, so this transit of Mercury is going to be very good one in that way. Not only that, it is a wonderful transit because just opposite to Mercury you will find Jupiter in the 10th house of profession, and Jupiter will aspect Mercury from 10th house. That means the aspect of Jupiter will fall on the 4th house, in the house of happiness, where Mercury is transiting, and Mercury will aspect Jupiter in the where Jupiter is sitting in the 10th house. Okay, so that means you will also find some good results with respect to your profession also, and that will ultimately bring happiness at your home. So your home and work balance will be maintained quite better during this next 2 months. So I will say make the most out of it, because this is a time when whatever work you start, you are ultimately going to get good results. One more thing, since it is the 4th house, it is the house of happiness. So that means ultimately your peace of mind, mental that happiness will be maintained. Your relationship, your bonding with your mother will be much more better. This is also a time when your health of your mother will improve. Okay, so it's a very good time, very good transit for Mercury transiting through the 4th house. Make the most out of it. Okay, for the Cancer ascendant people, Mercury will be transiting in the 3rd house, in the exalted position, in the exalted mode, in the sign of Virgo. So this transit will help you to establish a better communication between you and the people, between you and the people which you meet in daily life, in daily contact. Now that can be your neighborhood, your siblings, any person with whom you meet in daily contact. That can be someone in your office also. Okay, that can be your colleague. You will find that your communication skills is improving. You will find that now the conversations are becoming much more practical, much more organized, and you are getting more enthusiasm to implement your ideas, that also in some intellectual form in your life. So this is a time to put your thoughts into reality in some more practical mode. So you will find that now you can use your imagination also in a practical manner, because don't forget, for the Cancer ascendant people, Mercury rules the 12th house also, and 12th house also deals with our subconscious mind, imaginative process. Okay, so you can use that thought, you can use that imagination in your reality, how you are improving your efforts, your actions through your valor and courage. Many times it may happen that we think certain things, but we are always afraid that should I do it or not. This Mercury, since it is exalted in your 3rd house and it also rules over your 12th house, so your subconscious mind will actually bring those kind of imaginations and thoughts which will actually help you to bring in front of you in the mode of your efforts, in the mode of your work, and that will actually give you good results. So that means, suppose 3rd house also deals with our creative talents. It also deals with our communication skills, reading, writing, or anything related to communication, social media. So this is a time when you will be able to put forward your thoughts into reality in some more practical manner, and that also with constant learning, because it is ruling the sign of Virgo. So that means you will feel that yes, I am suppose you are a writer, you wrote something, and you will find yes, I can improve it, I can improvise over it. So you will be able to find your mistakes, rectify it, and get the best out of it. Another thing is that since it is the 3rd house of communication, your communication skill will improve, but don't be over binding over certain things when you are conversing with other people. Certain matters may lead to some kind of arguments, because Mercury rules over communication. So stay away from any kind of things where you are feeling that you have to force your opinion on other. Okay, just stay away from that. Otherwise, this transit of Mercury can be a best one for you, because third house is the house of efforts. Short travels can be seen for the Cancer ascendant people when Mercury is transiting through the sign of Virgo for the Cancer ascendant people in the third house. Okay. For the Leo ascendant people, Mercury will be transiting in the second house, and this transit of Mercury is going to give you very good results, not only with respect to your wealth, finance, but also it is going to give you very good results with respect to your intelligence and spiritual side of life. Because this Mercury, normally Mercury is a planet which rules over curiosity, learning, always ready to learn new things. And second house is the house of values. It is the house of sanskar, which we get from our family elders at our younger age. Okay, so that means this Mercury will help you to learn new things, follow your family morals, tradition and culture in a much more better manner. Not only that, this Mercury will directly look onto your 8th house. So that means it is also allowing you to learn the spiritual side of life also. All of a sudden, if you start learning any spiritual book or following any spiritual topic, don't get surprised, because this Mercury is going to transit through your second house for more than 60 days. So it's a big transit of more than 60 days. So you will be able to learn new things, follow it and absorb it in your value system. Okay. Not only that, this transit of Mercury will also bring good results with respect to how you are dealing with your elders, how you are dealing with your family members. It will also bring good results regarding that. Since it is exalted in the house of finance and wealth, this is a transit when you will be able to bring some proper decisions with respect to your wealth and finance. Incoming of wealth can be expected during this particular time. Increase of wealth can also be expected with respect to this transit of Mercury in the sign of Virgo. If you are associated with any kind of business or property where financial transactions are expected, then this transit of Mercury will bring success in those aspects of your life. So you can understand that this will not only bring prosperity, but also increase and expansion of property, business and money during this particular time. So since second house is also the house of values, as I said earlier also, this transit of Mercury can also allow you to purchase anything which is valuable, which you value the most, and have in your family, have in your house, have in the place where you live in. Okay, so this transit of Mercury is going to give you this kind of good results. So suppose whether it is fixed asset or joint asset, this transit of Mercury will give you very good results and also improve the relationship between you and your in-laws. Suppose if you are married, then with your in-laws also, this transit of Mercury will bring some cordial relationship between you and them. Okay, so make the most out of it for the Leo ascendant people. For the Virgo ascendant people, Mercury will be transiting in the first house, and this transit is going to be a very essential one because Mercury rules over the sign of Virgo. And when we talk about the ascendant sign, and ascendant becomes the first house of the horoscope, and whenever any benefic planet transits over the ascendant, it obviously brings very good results. And here Mercury is the lord of the first house, and just opposite to Mercury we have Jupiter in the 7th house in the sign of Pisces. So this transit of Mercury for the Virgo ascendant people is going to be very good one. Now this transit will not only allow you to express yourself freely, but also allow you to learn new things in your life, and it will also improve your decision making qualities. Since this transit of Mercury will will make you a bit more critical towards and more logical towards your approach of life. So different kinds of thoughts and emotions may come in front of you, where you have to identify the right thing and act upon it very logically. So this is also a time of learning new things in your life, because since it is transiting over the first house, so it will impact your lifestyle the most. This is the time when you can improve your lifestyle, improve your work on your punctuality, work on your time management, your decision making abilities, and also in your general happiness. Since Mercury rules over communication, rules over wealth, finance, so this is a transit when where your communications between you and the other people, because just opposite to the first house we have the seventh house. So how you are dealing with other people, your communication skill will improve regarding that. So finance will improve since Mercury is transiting over the first house in the exalted mode, and Mercury also happens to be your 10th lord. 10th lord getting exalted in the first house, this is a very good transit with respect to how you are applying your intelligence in your work. It will not only make you self dependent, independent, and also it will give you a new thought regarding how you are using your intelligence, how you are using your logical setup of your mind and your thought process in your work. So that means whatever work you do, this is the time which will make you much more powerful, free and independent regarding how you are doing your work. So new kinds of job opportunities can also be expected during this particular time when Mercury is transiting in the exalted mode in your first house. This will also improve your relationship between you and your spouse. Suppose if you are in a relationship, then this Mercury will improve your relationship between you and your spouse. Or suppose even if you are not in a relationship, then also this Mercury will improve your relationship between you and the other peoples when you deal with other peoples. Okay, so make the most out of it. And this transit, since it is going to happen for more than 60 days, ultimately it will improve a lot of things in your personality and your health. So this is a time when you can take more care of your health, because this transit of Mercury, the energy will help you, energy will be in your favor, where you can take care regarding your health. So you can expect some improvement in your health, improvement in your personality. People will be attracted towards you with respect to your intelligence. So you will be able to solve many problems in your life with your more logical decisive power and your thought process. So make the most out of it. So that's it for the Virgo ascendant people. For the Libra ascendant people, the transit of Mercury is happening in the 12th house. Normally, the transit of Mercury in the 12th house is considered not so good, but this time, this Mercury is your 9th lord getting exalted in the 12th house. This transit of Mercury is going to be very beneficial for you, because this is a wonderful time when you can have some more time to improve your health, improve your spiritual connections, and also this is a time when you can learn new things with respect to religious stuffs and spiritual knowledge also. This is a time when Mercury, the energy of Mercury will help you have to have some proper rest of your body, and you will also find that your sleeping schedule is improving. Although Mercury is the planet of intelligence, planet of logical reasoning, and 12th house is the house of spirituality, salvation, liberation, the other realm. Okay, so logical thinking and imaginative power, they do not both go they do not go very well together, but this Mercury will allow you to think in that imaginative plane, learn new things with respect to spirituality. And it is also a time when you can also have some travels, go to your guru or preceptor, find them and learn new things from them. You may also find some guru in disguise and learn new things from them. Okay, since in today's day and world, Mercury rules over social media or communication or anything how you can communicate in today's day, you will find that communications are improving in many modes, in many manners, correct? So don't get surprised that suppose all of a sudden if you are learning some spiritual stuffs or religious stuffs online or any by any different kind of mode. Okay, because this is a time when you can learn new things. Okay, some travels can be seen to some faraway lands, and travels can be with respect to your religious learning also, spiritual learning also. And this is also a time when you can use some spiritual way of living, that can be yoga, that can be practice of meditation and exercise, and that is how you can also improve your health. It's a very good transit, I will say, because this Mercury will be like giving you that after whole day of work you need some rest, you need some that proper mental peace. This Mercury will allow you to have that. You will own self feel it that this transit of Mercury from 21st of August, it has already started working on you and going to give you good results. So make the most out of it, and this is a time for your health care also. But one more thing I will say, I will definitely add to it, that Mercury, since it is transiting through the 12th house, stay away from any kind of miscommunications, and also stay away from any kind of unnecessary expenditure of wealth. Okay, these are the two things which you have to take care. So otherwise this transit of Mercury is going to be very good. Make the most out of it. For the Scorpio ascendant people, Mercury will be transiting in the 11th house and it is exalted. Normally transit of Mercury in the 11th house is considered very good, and now it is in exalted state. So that means this Mercury is going to give you very good results with respect to your earnings, with respect to your incoming of wealth. Suppose you are expecting any kind of earnings or income, then this transit of Mercury will allow you to have it. Suppose if you are associated with anything related to Mercury or Mercurian field, that can be writing, reading, communication. Nowadays many things are associated with Mercury, because almost more than 95% of the things of this world are online or are impacted by online services. So when you are communicating with other people online, that is Mercury. How you are communicating with other people in social media or in your society, that is also Mercury. So you can have gains through those things. Suppose if you are associated with communicative field, you are a teacher, even if you are a student, you are a orator, you are a speaker, you are a writer, reader, publisher, anything, everything is Mercury. You will find that your social communication is improving day by day during this transit of Mercury in your 11th house. Especially suppose there is a chance that your communication between you and young people will improve during this particular time, because Mercury also signifies young people, and 11th house is the house of social interactions, our network circle. This is a time when you will earn a lot when you work in a group, that also group of some young people, young brain and mind. So your mind will be much more active during this particular time, because 11th house is the house of gains, and Mercury is our that thought process, thinking process, how you are applying your intelligence in your real life. So you will find that yes, now you are able to apply your thoughts, that also in a positive manner, in order to get professional success and have more and more gains through it. Mercury will just opposite to Mercury will be Jupiter in the 5th house, and Mercury and Jupiter will aspect each other. So that means it is a time when you can also work upon your creative skill set, learn new things. This is also a time of learning. Don't get surprised. Suppose if you start suddenly you are learning new things related to your education, or suppose if you are a student, then this is a wonderful time, I will say, because you may get some good success and good grades during this particular time, and this Mercury will be acting wonderful in your that educational success and success related to studies and learning. So make the most out of it for the Scorpio ascendant people. For the Sagittarius ascendant people, Mercury will be transiting in your 10th house in the exalted mode in the sign of Virgo. Normally the transit of Mercury through the 10th house is considered very good, because this is a time when you can use your intelligence, use your logical setup and mind in a more prompt manner, in a more free manner, and get the most out of it. And now this Mercury is exalted, and just opposite to Mercury we have Jupiter. Jupiter is already aspecting your 10th house from the 4th house, and now Mercury is exalted in the 10th house. So that means Mercury will give you much more better results during this particular time, for the span of over 60 days, when Mercury will be transiting in your 10th house, and you will be able to do your work in a much more smarter mode. You will find that you have the solution to any kind of projects, any kind of problems. Whatever work you get, you will find that yes, I can do it easily. So you will have a more peace of mind, you will have a more clear thoughts towards your work, and that will not only improve your relationship between you and your superiors, but also there is a chances that your status will improve, your name, fame, reputation will improve with respect to this transit of Mercury through the 10th house. So you can improve happiness, you can improve professional success, you can also improve some kind of appraisals and applauses from your superiors and authorities, and By the virtue of this transit through the 10th house, this is a time when you can also have some proper communications and conversations with your superiors, because during this particular time you will get chance to talk with them, discuss with them certain things with respect to your work, and it will also improve your karma. Mercury happens to be your 7th lord for the Sagittarius ascendant people, and 7th lord getting exalted in the 10th house, so that means you will also get better support from your spouse with respect to your professional arena regarding your karma. So your karma will improve and your spouse or your partner will be an active participator in this. So it will also improve your relationship between you and your spouse, and ultimately give you that family happiness, because just opposite to Mercury will be Jupiter in its own sign, in the sign of Pisces, in the 4th house. So it's a wonderful transit for the Sagittarius ascendant people, having Mercury in the 10th house exalted, okay, in the sign of Virgo. So that's it for this Sagittarius ascendant people. For the Capricorn ascendant people, Mercury will be transiting in the exalted mode in the sign of Virgo in the 9th house, and Mercury is one of the best planet for the Capricorn ascendant people, getting exalted in the 9th house. So that means you can expect this is a time of higher learning. This is a time on working on your belief system. This is a time when you can work on your religious principles, ideas. You can connect with your elders of your family. You can connect with your guru. You can connect with your father and learn new things. There is a huge propensity that some kind of long travels can be there, and suppose if you are traveling to some religious places, there also you will find huge scope of learning new things, learning new ideas, meeting people of religious communities and also learn from them. This is a time when Mercury will allow you to learn from philosophical ideas. And since it is the sign of Virgo, it is a constant and continuous process, that also in a practical manner, because you will feel that what are the things which I must focus in order to get in order to achieve my aim and ambition in my life, because 9th house has the energy to chase your dreams. It is the house of optimism, don't forget that. So that means this Mercury will allow you to become much more practical, organized and very logical regarding how and what you are learning and from whom you are learning. So that means this is a time when you can also become very curious, learn new things, improve yourself, and again follow that process in that continuous process, that also for the span of more than 60 days. Okay, so this is the wonderful time. Now this Mercury will directly aspect the 3rd house where Jupiter is sitting. So this is a time when you can also use your intelligence, your logical intelligence, think more critically and work on your efforts, your hobbies, start new projects and get the most out of it. Your relationship between you and your father figure, your guru, will improve much more, and this is a wonderful time when you can also get along with them, learn new things, learn new ideas and improve those things in your karma, because when Mercury leaves Virgo, it will enter your 10th house in the sign of Libra. So that means now your learning will be helping you out in your professional area or your career. So make the most out of it. Okay, for the Aquarius ascendant people, Mercury will be transiting in your 8th house and getting exalted. Normally the transit of Mercury through the 8th house helps a native to go through the deeper aspects of life, and now the Mercury is exalted. So that means this is a time when you can be more spiritual and learn the spiritual side of life. You may all of a sudden start learning something related to occult science or occult knowledge or spiritual knowledge. This is also a time when you may get connected with spiritual communities also, or any community where you can learn some occult knowledge and keep on learning that, because this transit of Mercury is going to be a longer one. This transit will also help you to have a better dealings with your business partners and how you deal with your joint assets. Mercury will directly aspect your 2nd house where Jupiter is sitting. So that means it will also help you to get along with your family members and improve your value system. It will also help you to work on your finances, be it joint asset or fixed asset. This will also prove to be a good time to have sudden wealth, sudden income of money. Okay, because this Mercury is exalted and looking onto your second house. And don't forget, for the Aquarius ascendant people, Mercury happens to be the fifth lord, getting exalted in the 8th house. So there is a chance that all of a sudden some windfall of money or wealth may come across in your life. Your relationship between your in-laws will improve during this particular time. And not only that, how you are dealing with your spouse or your partner in daily life, means suppose if you are in married life or in any kind of relationship, so your responsibilities in your married life or whatever the things which you deal in daily life in your relationship or married life, that will improve due to this transit of Mercury in the 8th house. So make the most out of it. For the Pisces ascendant people, Mercury will be transiting in the 7th house in the exalted mode. Now this transit has to be seen a bit more carefully, because normally the transit of Mercury through the 7th house can bring some kind of more overcritical approach towards your married life, that can lead to some kinds of disputes, arguments, or difference of opinion between you and your spouse, you and your partner. But here Mercury is exalted and Mercury is also receiving the aspect of Jupiter from the first house. So that means now you will be able to set up a proper communication between you and your partner. Marital issues will be settled during this particular time. You will feel that yes, this is the correct time when I can discuss certain things with my partner and come to a conclusion, come to a proper opinion. I will say that don't get overcritical into certain things, because Mercury will make you feel a bit more overcritical. That can lead to some kinds of small arguments. Don't become more overbinding onto your thoughts and put it on your partner. Okay, stay away from that kind of approach. Rather try to find a solution in order to, because certain things happens in our life where we feel that I will discuss it later or I will take care of it later. So those things may all of a sudden come in front of you where you may feel that yes, this is the time when I will talk about it. Okay, so you can think about it more logically, that what is the correct way of solving it, because this Mercury is a problem solver. When Mercury transits through the sign of Virgo, it is a problem solver. It knows that how logically I can find out the solution, and it is also receiving the aspect of Jupiter. So make the most out of it. This Mercury will give you very good results with respect to your trade relations. Suppose if you are associated with any kind of business relationship or any kind of trade or business, then this Mercury will allow you to get in good contract with good people. You may get some proper success with respect to your legal bindings and contracts. You will also get chance to expand your business, and this is a time when this Mercury will also allow you to establish general happiness at your home, because 7th house is fourth from the 4th house, and Mercury also rules your 4th house for the Pisces ascendant people. So 4th lord coming into the 7th house and getting exalted, that means you will try your best to bring ultimate general peace of happiness, general peace of mind or happiness at your home. So this also improves the prosperity of the people living in and around you. This also indicates prosperity in the life of your spouse also. Don't get surprised if your spouse gets some kind of professional improvement during this particular time, because it is indicated that your spouse may also get some kind of personal development and improvement in his or her professional area. Okay, and that will ultimately bring happiness at your life also. So make the most out of it. Okay, so that's it for all the 12 ascendant sign. I hope you have liked this video, and if you have like this video, then press the like button and share to your near and dear ones. I will come back with some other interesting video for you when I come back next time, and your comments are always welcome to me. Do write down below your opinion and query. I will go through it and I will try to reply it on time. Okay, and if you are new to this channel, press the subscribe button, click onto the notification bell icon so that every time I make a new video you get notified instantly. So that's it for today. Next time when I come back, I'm coming back with some another interesting video. So I am signing off for now today. Thanking you. Bye bye.